It is time to leave your worries outside and laugh with us inside the Treehouse. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm. Coming up on today's show, it's one of my favorite birthdays of the year. Coming up inside birthdays, inside the Treehouse later today. Also, I think it's very important that, we ended the week last week with a very, very big discussion about the Avengers Doomsday trailer. And then over the weekend, all the Marvel stuff happened at Hall H. And I didn't see a bunch of it, but luckily Trey has. So he's going to enlighten me. If you love what you hear here today, do us a favor. Share the show with a friend. Hit that share button from your favorite listening platform. Send it to a friend. Post it on social media. And together, let's grow the Treehouse Show. Okay, Trey, fill me in. What did I miss? What did I miss at Hall H over the weekend from the Marvel extravaganza?
What did you miss? So the funniest part probably is Deadpool made an appearance at the I'm guessing it was a Comic-Con thing, but it was at the Avengers Doomsday. They had all the stars out there, I think, except for Hemsworth. And they call on the guy with the swords, to ask a question, of course, and it's Ryan Reynolds dressed as Deadpool, but not in the actual Deadpool costume. He is in a denim Deadpool costume.
Okay, hang on. I believe I've got this for us here.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. So yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s got the microphone on the stage. He's got Chris Evans behind him, like all the people behind him from the cast. And then he points out to the crowd where a denim Deadpool is awaiting.
Who's this guy with the swords and stuff?
Can we get him a microphone? I have one.
It's a pretty cool moment because I'm surprised at that moment when they show Deadpool in the crowd, and everyone might be thinking, because it's not the first time that they've had something like this happen where the actual actor who plays the character is in the crowd, but there's still some question about it. Like, oh, is it him? Is it not? And then when he pulls the microphone out and you hear his voice, I'm surprised he didn't get swarmed right then and there.
But here's the amazing thing is, and he posted this to his, Ryan Reynolds to his own social media. He was out on the floor of Comic-Con in this outfit for about an hour. He wasn't really talking, so no one knew it was him, but he's taking pictures with everyone and all this stuff. And of course, now everyone's going to go back and go, holy shit, I got a picture with Ryan Reynolds. But the nerds lost their mind on this because what does that mean? Great Deadpool. What does that mean? Oh my God. Yeah, and then they start going off all these theories. He's Canadian. And maybe that is something that's been lost, that it was a joke with us and years ago, something called the Canadian tuxedo, which is all denim head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
On his social media, he says, it's Canadian tuxedo Deadpool outfit. So there's no hidden meaning. There's no, this isn't an Easter egg for Doomsday. It's a joke.
Yeah. Do you think that the downfall of Victor Von Doom is denim?
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be so aghast at what Deadpool's wearing that he's just going to forget everything and they're going to beat him.
Yeah. And he actually mentions it here in Hall H.
Huge fan. Look at that cast. Thank you. I'm not wearing the Doom mask over this mask because I didn't want to ruin the lines of my Canadian tuxedo. My name is Ricky. That's a mononym like Cher or Madonna. And I'm just cosplaying hard.
It's gray Deadpool. No, it's not. It's Canadian tuxedo Deadpool.
It's Ryan Reynolds, being actually pretty funny. So,
and it's interesting because in watching the trailer last week, Deadpool was not in it. And so this was a nice reminder that he is in the movie in some way. And I can't wait for that. That's another angle on the whole movie that I can't wait for, which is to see Ryan Reynolds Deadpool in the middle of all these heroes and just to see basically the shenanigans.
Well, and from everything I've seen, so they announced like phase 7 and 8 and everything coming up. Obviously, because he said after Deadpool and Wolverine, he would not do another Deadpool. And we all joked that they will back up the cash cow enough. And especially after, the whole thing with he and his wife and the lawsuit with the movie and everything. They kind of got their image tarnished a little bit. So I'm sure the stupid amount of money that they backed up to pay him for doing another Deadpool. But I've seen it's Deadpool and Spider-Man. I've seen it's just Deadpool. I don't know. But
so what did Marvel unveil in the phases 7 and 8? Did it include, because I haven't seen this, did it include Deadpool the 3, 4? I guess it'd be 4.
There's a Deadpool, an X-Men, Ryan Gosling, Ghost Rider.
I did see that yesterday as I was going to bed doing my doom scrolling, that it was made official that Ryan Gosling is the new Ghost Rider.
Black Panther 3 with T'Challa's son. There's a guy taking over. So they're not going to do the chick Black Panther. It's going to be another guy. And then you get lost. So they said another Wolverine movie. And so now I'm curious, is it Hugh Jackman? Are they going to, because there's an X-Men movie. Are we going to do a whole new cast? Are we going to try to, do the geriatric X-Men?
You know what? You better start getting Professor X's stuff done in batches like you had to do with Stan Lee's cameos, because, man, Patrick Stewart, I mean, he's old. And
so is Ian McKellen.
Is Ian McKellen. Like, if you want these guys to keep doing stuff, I mean, either you're going to have to AI version them, or keep them alive.
They've killed Xavier. They've killed Patrick Stewart Xavier twice. So, I mean, but how many more times? I forgot. I saw someone do a list of all the characters that they've somehow killed and have come back. But it's an impressive thing. I saw one thing where there's going to, and one of the things I was told after the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, whatever the hell it was that the Scarlet Witch was dead.
Mm-hmm.
But now they said there's the Scarlet Witch, and now I've seen that it's a Scarlet Witch movie, or it's going back to WandaVision or the WandaVision type show or whatever. I've seen 2 reports. I don't know which one. Okay. But yeah, I'm very confused as to that. And because there's from what I saw, there's going to be another Wolverine movie and there's an X-Men movie. What are we getting here?
Yeah.
Are we going to have a new X-Men, new Wolverine, or, I mean, Jackman can still pull it off, but the rest of them, because especially Famke Janssen can't do Jean Grey anymore, and that's actually one of the kind of essential characters in an X-Men. So they need, and I from what I understand, she's going to be in there's going to be a new Jean Grey Phoenix in Doomsday, but there's so much speculation you don't know.
Right, and there's also speculation that the actress Sadie Sink from Stranger Things,
yes, it's going to be
in the new Spider-Man movie, is going to be the Jean Grey, and that character is getting introduced in the new Spider-Man movie, this week basically, or next week, whatever it is. And
which, if you're a comic book nerd, and like I said, X-Men was as close as I ever came to being a comic book nerd. Jean Grey was one of those, they didn't do a lot with her in the X-Men movies because she was actually one of the most powerful of the mutants. So it's it all looks good. It looks like they've got some really good stuff coming up.
But you ask a great question, which is, what version of X-Men are we going to get? Because we had the first batch, with Patrick Stewart and a younger Hugh Jackman and, Halle Berry. And then you got the Days of Future Past cast, which was the younger version on a different timeline. So now, are they crossing them over some, or are we going to get a brand new X-Men cast? Because I do know at the end of the Marvels movie, you had Kelsey Grammer back as Beast in one of the cutscenes.
Right. And he is definitely in Doomsday.
Yeah. So I'm with you, man. I don't know. But one thing I do know is if they do recast everything, then we're gonna have all the hoopla again over who do we think is right to play Wolverine. And keep in mind, a bunch of people didn't think Hugh Jackman was a good choice. They're like, he's too tall and he's too thin and blah blah blah. And then you saw him do it, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's good. And now you're thinking, well, who can replace him as Wolverine? I have no idea.
Well, they've killed Wolverine twice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I get you have a lot of leeway with timelines, but damn. Because I think actually they killed Patrick Stewart 3 times, because they killed him in one of the X-Men movie, and then in Logan, and in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's right.
So
it's amazing. I'm curious about it, that's for sure. I'm excited for the new movie to come out. I'm excited to see all these things come together and if they actually pull it off. But the other thing I'm excited about, and while I didn't see a ton of the Marvel stuff over the weekend, I did see something else that also happened around Hall H, I believe. And that was the unveiling of the Spaceballs phases. Look, I've already had high hopes for the new Spaceballs movie, right? I am hoping beyond hope that it is good. And we won't know until it comes out, right? But based on at least a little bit of the promotion that they've done so far, my hopes are still pretty high. So Spaceballs managed to spoof the entire Marvel DC phase stuff in their own way, and it was really funny. So you start with Spaceballs, the new one, and then you slide over into Spaceballs, The Schwartz Awakens, and then that'll lead into Spaceballs, The Franchise Menace. And then there's also around 2032-ish, you'll get Dark Helmet Origins, a Spaceballs story. And then after that, at some point, they don't know when, you'll get Dark Helmet Origins 2, even younger. And then in 2030, you get Spaceballs Winnebago Nights, along with in 2031, Spaceballs Super Duper Secret Wars. And then in phase 2, you get Dark Helmet Origins 3, the youngest. And then sometime after that, Dark Helmet Origins, where it all began. Oh my God, it's so brilliant. I love it so much.
There was more than that. There was
and then
a yogurt one, and
you get yogurt. So coming out in 2033, yogurt, Schwartz and all. and then I think this may be my favorite part for the Spaceballs saga. In 2008, you'll get Spaceballs, the animated series, and then now you'll get Spaceballs, the animated series reboot. Someday, Spaceballs, the animated series live action. And then after that, where it says, please stop, Spaceballs, the animated series, the musical, all next to Time is a Flat Circle. And then you're going to get in 2035 Heroes of Druidia Rogue Dumb. Oh, Spaceballs for Kids. I just, oh God, it's so good.
I have to think, because Mel Brooks hadn't made a movie in years.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are this is his last one. So I have to assume he really liked the script in order to do this.
Yeah.
So I have very high hopes for it.
Mm-hmm.
And being that he seems to still be have all his faculties, yeah, let's hope. Yeah, and the fact that Rick Moranis came out of retirement, I have to have a feeling that getting all those people together, the script had to be good.
Yeah. And you also get, Bill Pullman, who of course plays Lone Star. His kid is now a bona fide actor, and he's also in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because he's the Sentinel guy from Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. And he's also, I'm assuming, playing Lone Star Jr. in Spaceballs. So right. He gets the fun trip of a career to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and then also in a film that's going to rip it to shreds. I can't wait for it. I'm so excited.
Oh. In the meantime, let's just hope the new Spider-Man's good.
Fingers crossed, baby. Fingers all the way crossed. This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. To get your free roof inspection, call Daniel and Carrie Cook today, 833-COOK-DFW. That's 833-COOK-DFW or the website cookdfw.com. On that website, by the way, cookdfw.com, if you're thinking about getting a new roof, whether you just want one that's updated with all sorts of new fangled technology to protect your home, you can do that. They have a quote that you can get right there on the website to give you an idea of how much it'll cost. Go to cookdfw.com. Back inside the Treehouse, I'm Dan, along with Trey. Before we jump into birthdays, I wanted to mention one other thing about Spaceballs, the new one. One of the last slides that they had posted over the weekend was Spaceballs, the new one, the Almighty Schwartz Saga ass. And then underneath it, they have an important note that says, nothing is canon, everything is canon, and that's canon. I cannot wait for that movie.
Yeah.
2027, man. It's going to be a fun year. All right. Today is Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. Let's celebrate today with some birthdays. Celebrating a belated birthday, our very own Trey Trenholm. Just a couple of days ago, turned, is it 52?
Yep.
You don't look it. You look great, buddy. 52
I appreciate
years, 52 years young.
Something like that.
Isn't it a kick in the balls to think back to when you were in your 20s and or maybe this was just me. I don't know if you did this, but when I was in my 20s, I would occasionally think ahead to be like, I wonder what it's going to be like when I'm such and such age. It's hard to wrap my brain around the age of 52 when I'm 22. But now that you're 52, I'm like, because you're a little bit older than me, I'm not, dreading it the way that I probably would have when I was younger. Probably partly because I'm not that far behind you. And it's like, hey, if I make it to 52, that's doing good. It's a privilege to age.
I mean, this is nothing like how I imagined it would be, but I have no one to blame but myself for that. So
I will say that, and then part of this is Hollywood's fault, being quote unquote middle-aged I was really expecting flying cars and things.
I would say flying cars are one of the few things that we really thought we would get by now, and they're slowly coming along. But yeah, I would say that. It's I think probably the most fascinating thing, if we really look back on it, is our concept of aging has changed so dramatically because our parents and especially our grandparents, you retired at 55 and you basically did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, a few people traveled, but you can go back and look at, like I said, the cast of Cocoon. Wilford Brimley, I think, was 49 or 50 when they filmed Cocoon. They all looked old. You look at some of the Golden Girls, they were all in their late 40s, early 50s. It's just none of us look like that, which thank God.
Yeah.
And I think we, at some point figured out that, maybe you officially retire, but like, if you just quit doing stuff, you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, part of it is a sad realization that when you reach 55, when I reach 55, retirement is not going to be an option. That is not on the table. Whereas, like you said, for our grandparents, yeah, that was kind of like the age. Like you hit 55, it's like, boy, it's time to hang them up. We're in retirement stage now. But even our parents, my dad wanted to retire at a certain point. I think in his 50s is when he wanted to, but like in 2008 when the market, like the bubble burst, market crash a little bit, whatever, and it set his retirement date back a few years. But he was still able to retire in his early 60s. That's not on the table for most of us. It's like we didn't make that same amount of money, and money doesn't go as far as it used to. But you're right, at least physically we look a hell of a lot better.
Yeah. I made such poor decisions being an alcoholic that like I said, I have no one to blame but myself. And I certainly could have made choices where I can't even fathom retiring, even if I could. I could certainly be doing a lot more fun things right now than what I'm doing, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like I was talking with my stepmom yesterday, and I said, the sad thing is, I said, in my 2 years of my 50s, I have exercised more than my dad did from 50 to 79 when he died.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing. And I watched it with my dad. I watched it with my mom. Of being sedentary is just you are writing your own death certificate.
Yeah.
And that's, we know so much more now about the body and aging and exercise and everything else that it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's very much a use it or lose it situation. That's true for your brain and it's true for your body.
Mm-hmm.
And having watched some of our previous generations decline in that way has been a good lesson for us to learn. Those of us that were paying attention, like you mentioned your mom and your dad. My grandmother, once she true full on retired, she didn't do much. I mean, she just kind of hung out in her bedroom. Like she, a big day for her was maybe going to the grocery store, and she just didn't do much. And and then at a certain point, you can't get around. You physically can't lift yourself out of a bathtub or something. It's like, man, for most of us, especially you and me, we don't want to be like that.
No.
It's like, I don't need to be, buff grandpa or anything like that. But my God, I don't want to be the guy in the Life Alert commercial who can't get up.
Yeah, that's that is the whole key of it is keep moving, like you said, keep using your brain, keep using your body, because the minute you stop, it goes so fast. It's just unbelievable. And I mean, and it goes in ways my mom just, I mean, her mental and physical decline, she sat on her ass and watched TV.
Yeah.
And to the point where even as of like 2-3 years ago, she could hardly read. She could type and, and sort of, but I asked her one time to like read something and read it out loud. Couldn't do it.
Jesus.
And it wasn't anything. It wasn't like, an article on quantum physics. It was something very simple, but her brain had just turned to mush.
Mm. All right. Well, let's celebrate some other people's birthdays. I mentioned earlier that today has a birthday that is one of my favorites each and every year. We'll get to that one shortly. The first birthdays I will mention, Afro Man is 52, best known for his hit, Because I Got High. You know what? If you're going to be a one-hit wonder, that's a hell of a one to have.
And that was probably still back in the day where he's living all right just off one hit.
Mm-hmm. Like he may not necessarily, like that song is not to the level of, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas type of situation, but I'm sure the residuals on Because I Got High aren't bad.
I think it's been sampled enough though that I bet he's doing all right.
Yeah. Another singer, I use that loosely. Another artist, Soulja Boy, is 36.
Okay.
Soulja Boy, 36. According to the description I have here from the prep service, viral music pioneer whose "Crank That" dance became one of YouTube's earliest internet crazes.
Yeah. Oh, that's the only thing I know him from.
Yeah. Lori Loughlin is 62. This is one of my favorite birthdays. This is one of my favorite birthdays, but it's not the ultimate birthday that I've been teasing today. But I love Lori Loughlin. I think she's phenomenal. She has been kind of ageless as well. She's best known for Full House. But then she was also caught up, if I remember right, in the scandal where they were basically like power
tuition
players
scandal,
and the big tuition scandal, paying to get her and her husband's kid into Ivy League schools and stuff. That's the last thing I've heard out of her.
I know one of them went to jail, and I can't remember. I don't think it was her. It was damn, I have to look it up. But yeah, yes, that's my last recollection of her too, is that she got caught up in that. And at the very least, I want to say she got some probation. She may have even had to do a little bit of jail time.
I think you may be right. It's been a minute since I've thought about that, but yeah. She's also, if I remember this correctly, I believe her first feature film is one of my guilty pleasures from all the way back in the day. In the 80s, she was in a little movie called Rad. And when I say it's a guilty pleasure movie of mine, then it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
So in this film called Rad, it's a kid whose dream, I guess, is to be a competitive BMX racer. And he starts his own company like Rad Racing. And he's got to take on the ultimate guy from Team Mongoose, played by Olympic gold medalist Bart Connors. And the love interest in this movie was played by Lori Loughlin. And instead of a traditional love scene in the film, instead, the guy and Lori Loughlin's characters go to a dance, and they dance on their bicycles.
Was this filmed in Portland?
It wouldn't surprise me. They were not naked for this bike ride, though. Go ahead.
Well, now here's this. I saw this the other day, and I meant to ask you about this. As I was flipping through the channels, there is one channel on DirecTV, which there's a jillion now, and you're like, how is that a channel? But clearly, its whole purpose is just showing bad movies. How many American Ninja movies did they make? Because I'm pretty sure I saw American Ninja 5 in the guide.
Oh, wow. So I don't know if they made a fifth one. I know they had 4 because the fourth one was called American Ninja 4, The Annihilation. And Michael Dudikoff.
They made a 5th. So I just
They
Googled
did.
It. Yep.
Who's in it? Because there's really technically only 2 American Ninjas that I grew up with. You had the original, which was Michael Dudikoff, and then the next guy that I think did it in American Ninja 3, I believe, was a new guy.
So
And then they were both in 4.
the truly the only name you are gonna know, unless you David Bradley, it looks like he's the star. And then the only other name you're gonna know is Pat Morita.
Oh yeah, Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. So I think at that point he had been typecast.
Yeah, man, I kind of feel bad for Mr. Miyagi, based on the fact that he basically ceased to be Pat Morita and became Mr. Miyagi. This is a guy that does not sound at all like
Mr.
Miyagi. He doesn't sound like the character at all. If you didn't see his face, you would think he looked like one of us just hearing his voice. But then he did such a good, stereotypical Asian Japanese man accent that just kind of basically became what he was known for. And so when people heard him talk in his voice, they were like, how do you sound like that? He's like, I've always sounded like this.
I mean, I don't feel too bad for him because I'm sure, especially for Karate Kid 2, he got a healthy check. But no, if you go back and I mean, the only other thing I really remember Pat Morita in is Happy Days.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he sounds nothing like Mr. Miyagi.
No. I really hope he got paid, really, really paid for Karate Kid 4. Because 3 was the one that was the girl, I believe. That was Hilary Swank. And then I think they made a 4th one, but did they bring back Daniel LaRusso for that one? See, now we've gone from American Ninja 5 to trying to see how many Karate Kids they made. I know it was 3. I think maybe a 4th.
I'm sure he got paid for 2 and 3 pretty well. So let's hope so.
Yeah. Wait. Hang on. So you had 1, 2, 3. Maybe it was 4 was Hilary Swank. 3 was Daniel LaRusso, because that's when you got the ponytail bad guy.
I remember 1 and 2. I think I saw 3, but it does not stick out in my brain.
Number 1 was the All Valley Tournament. Number 2 is in Karate Japan. Kid 2. Daniel goes to Japan. And then 3 was new bad guy Terry Crane or whatever it was, the long ponytail guy who was Cleese's like war buddy from Nam. And he was bringing back Cobra Kai. And he basically beat the crap out of Daniel LaRusso through that one. And then you got the 4th one, which was Karate Kid 4, the Hilary Swank version. Mm-hmm. I have too much useless information rattling around in my brain.
We all do. Yours just happens to center around really bad 80s and 90s movies.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let me go and throw this out. This is one of my favorite birthdays to read every single year. Forever enshrined and remembered as Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell, Elizabeth Berkley is 54. In her career, Elizabeth Berkley has overcome caffeine addiction and getting a really good effing in a pool in Showgirls. One of the most fascinating Hollywood careers I can think is Elizabeth Berkley. From Saved by the Bell to Showgirls. And then Whew.
Well, I mean, you talk about where choices that just because she wanted to get out of the image of Jesse from Saved by the Bell. So, and at the time, she was a hot star, and man, she chose poorly. Like, if she's offered something like Basic Instinct, her career trajectory totally different, probably. But
Absolutely.
that one, I mean,
Life is all about choices.
yeah. And clearly, she didn't read the script to Showgirls, or was so used to campy Saved by the Bell scripts, thought it was good.
She may have. It is weird though when you think about it, because when you think about the other people that were in Showgirls that I recall, right? The main three people that I remember from the movie, you've got Elizabeth Berkley, I think Gina Gershon, and the guy was Kyle MacLachlan.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hurt Kyle MacLachlan's career at all. That dude has been a Hollywood mainstay. Gina Gershon, I don't think that movie hurt her career at all, but it absolutely sunk Elizabeth Berkley's.
Well, Gina Gershon already kind of, she was I would say borderline B list. I always liked her, but she was in some iffy movies. Kyle MacLachlan had enough of a career that he could, but the thing about it is that whole movie, it was all pinned on Elizabeth Berkley. That was her, at the time, they would call it her coming out role. Like that, it was so much hype on that movie. And then it just bombed because it was bad. Her acting was bad. I mean, surely somebody went, okay, we got to do something. I mean, there was a screening somewhere where they're like, are we really going to do this?
Yeah. It really makes you wonder about Hollywood and speaking of choices that get made, because there are movies that have been made that have never been released. But someone decided to still release Showgirls.
I think they thought that, again, that was at a time that was right after like Basic Instinct, and I think they thought that Elizabeth Berkley could just be the new, it girl, and she just, it was a bad script and she couldn't act. Well, yeah, and our buddy Tone Bell had been in the Looney Tunes Roadrunner movie that they're finally going to release. That's what they actually did that. It was pre-COVID, I think.
Yeah, it's that movie's old, and then it just got shelved for some reason. And the cast in that movie is stacked. And yeah, our buddy Tone is in it. I mean, it's got John Cena, and it looks good, at least based on the trailer. I'll tell you this much: I bet it's better than Showgirls.
If it's not, we'll probably be able to get Tone on the show more.
I think he may need to join the show at that point. Back inside the treehouse, Dan and Trey. Couple quick hitters before we leave for today. The first of which is a Florida man is suing OpenAI because he says that the company's chatbot, ChatGPT, gave him incorrect and dangerous medical advice. Oh, my goodness.
There's an extra special aspect to this story.
According to the lawsuit, Scott Winters, a 55-year-old pastor, often turned to ChatGPT for medical advice when he experienced health problems. The suit alleges the chatbot eventually diagnosed him with dysautonomia, a nervous system disorder, and developed a personalized recovery plan with specific instructions for him to follow on how to heal his body. But when he had a massive pulmonary embolism in July of 25 due to multiple blood clots in both of his lungs that brought him to the brink of death, he was pretty miffed when it turns out that he had been misdiagnosed by ChatGPT.
Man of God, trust godless machine to give him medical diagnosis. What can go wrong? And you read the story, and part of it was based on the fact because he used ChatGPT, or was it, I don't know, ChatGPT or OpenAI or whatever, but he used it a lot. And so ChatGPT knew he was a pastor and framed some of the answers to go along with his faith. It's like, but at a certain point, you're now a Christian Scientist 2.0, where they won't go to the doctor, but instead of going to a doctor, you've gone full circle, and now you're trusting the godless machine to give you medical advice. You have no one but to blame. I have no sympathy for you whatsoever, sir.
That's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you how are you gonna, what do you say to your congregation? You trust in God. Well, you didn't.
Yeah, it's like, well, what happened to praying? Well, I stopped praying and just decided to ask ChatGPT what it thought. Doctor's notes later vastly contradicted ChatGPT's alleged diagnosis. The suit alleges that ChatGPT went beyond its scope by providing medical advice, and that the chatbot should have escalated crisis safeguards and directed him to medical personnel. Instead, it allegedly dissuaded him from seeking that help and instead offered him unqualified diagnoses and personalized treatment plans. According to OpenAI spokesperson, they said that ChatGPT is not a doctor and should never be used as a substitute for medical care, diagnosis, or treatment. Treating chatbots as the whole story behind people's medical decisions or outcomes oversimplifies a much bigger challenge and risks getting in the way of people accessing powerful new tools that can aid them in their health journey.
And just as a side note on this story, I don't know if in your whatever you pulled up, if it says that where he is.
Florida.
Mm-hmm. And now it's making me look at AI in a new light, because maybe AI is going to be Darwinism 2.0.
It could.
It's going to thin the herd.
Yeah.
Just in a totally different way.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden natural selection isn't so natural. It's more self-imposed.
Yeah.
It's self-inflicted.
I mean, we fear AI that is going to take us out on a mass level. Maybe it's going to start from the bottom and work its way up, and it's just going to cull the herd of the idiots. And I'm okay with that.
I am absolutely here for it, and I'll enjoy the show.
Just make sure you document it, and we get the stories. Please video at times.
Mm-hmm. Like if you type in, you've got a runny nose into ChatGPT, and it says, hey, you have a serious illness and you're going to die, and you then decide to throw yourself off of a roof to do it yourself, well, then, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask ChatGPT, hey, play me a song, and it doesn't go, where you are, and, all of a sudden, if you're cruising through Oak Cliff and it chooses NWA, you're going to die.
And I'm going to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us inside the Treehouse today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, share it with a friend. Send it to someone you love. Send it to someone you like. Hell, even send it to someone you hate. Hit that share button from your favorite listening platform. And also, you can share it on social media. And together, let's grow the Treehouse Show. We'll see you next time right here inside the Treehouse.